Hello, and you're listening to the Tiny Vet Podcast with myself, Dr. Nicole Sue, exotics veterinarian, and my fiance.
Myself, comedian Jez Watts. I recently did a private show at a 40th birthday party, and they initially asked me to do a 1-hour performance in a living room at 4:30 p.m. with children around. I told them I had 1.5 minutes of material that would be appropriate. So they moved me to 8:30 p.m. and said they'll put the kids upstairs. But some kids snuck in, and I think they have been permanently damaged, and I'm now on a watch list. Hello.
Why are you telling people this?
I mean, because they paid me $700, and maybe there's other people who would like to also ruin their children's futures.
They're probably doing it already. I don't think they need to pay money to do that.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, you can find clips of me online to ruin your children.
That is true.
Your children's perceptions of what a really good, nice relationship is. So much of my stand-up is about our relationship, by the way. I started plugging this podcast at the end of like either long sets or when I'm hosting and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, you can listen to the podcast. Nicole, she's also on it if you want to hear someone who's thrown their life away by being with me. And they get a nice big laugh. What are we talking about today, my love? My very happy and contented lover.
Oh, ow.
I'm sorry that you love me, but
Ow.
you do. So let's go through and talk about a topic.
I also love snakes.
That's true. And
I really like snakes.
They're also a bad thing.
No, they're not.
What are we talking about? Are we just talking about snakes today?
No, we actually being like, snakes are great. I love snakes.
All right, let's talk about
Snakes
how
are
snakes
cool.
are great and everybody loves snakes and they didn't ruin the whole Bible or anything.
Did they know?
Yeah, it's like the original sin guy.
He didn't do anything. He just said not to do it. And then they did the opposite of what he said.
No, God said not to do it.
Oh, the snake said to do it.
The snake said, hey, do the bad thing. And then that's why we all got like kicked out of Eden.
Yeah, you'll want to talk. Kicked out of Eden. Jesus. God, I'm a doctor.
All right, why are snakes so cool?
They're actually quite good pets.
Oh, this is just you angling to get a snake again.
Well, no. Well,
my dear listeners, she has tried to get so many snakes over the years.
What has been your experience with snakes in the household has been completely non-threatening. Snake in bag. Did it come out of the bag? No.
Dude, I don't think it's not a threat to come home and find a surprise snake. I think that is a threat.
Yeah, but the snake was in the bag.
That's what you do to somebody who hasn't paid the VIG on their loan. You know?
But the snake
you leave a big snake in their house that they weren't expecting to see.
It wasn't that big of a snake.
The bag was not small. No, I know you're a big fan of snakes. Did you have snakes growing up?
I had some snakes growing up.
50 to 60 pets.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of snakes because my mom is scared of snakes.
Oh, like a regular person.
I don't know,
She's frightened
man.
of this slithery, scary thing.
Yeah, they're not scary. First of all, they very rarely bite. I have very rarely...
Very rarely is not never, but yeah, okay. What's very rarely? Once a week?
No, in that... I'm trying to think, in the 8 years I've been an exotics veterinarian, I have been bitten like maybe 3 times by snakes.
How many times by rabbits?
None.
It's so nuts to me.
Oh, it's so ridiculous.
Like, 'cause,
I am so irritating to them.
Yeah, I mean, she mushes their face every time.
Into my face.
Do you kiss snake faces too?
No, because that's very dangerous.
All right.
Yeah.
That's finally a reasonable opinion of you.
And you can get like salmonella and other things like that. So
Yeah, right.
don't do that. But yes, it is insane that I've never been bitten by a rabbit because I like kiss all of them on the lips.
Yes.
And they don't really like it that much.
No, none of them do. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, they don't. You're more likely to be bitten by a dog or a cat as a vet than be bitten by a snake. I guess part of that is because not that many vets see snakes.
Yes, I think if you saw the same number of snakes as there are dogs and cats, I think there'd be a lot more snake bites.
But also, if I was a dog and cat vet, I would have been bitten way more times than like 3 times in the past 8 years.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
Right, yeah, sure. All right, what's so cool about snakes?
They're actually not slimy.
They are!
No, they're not. They're smooth and dry.
They look slimy.
Well, they're not. Don't else tell you that, man. They're smooth. They're cool to the touch.
Uh-huh.
They're firm. Why?
These are just weird adjectives you're using.
Why? No, they're nice to
Smooth,
hold.
cool to the touch. They're firm.
They're nice to hold.
They're nice, are they?
Yes.
I got a photo with a snake. When I went to Malaysia with the army. We went to like a temple or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, there's snakes." And so it would be cool to have like a snake draped around your shoulders and take a photo.
That's actually not good for the snake.
All right, but it would be a cool photo. But then because we're just all these like white Australians there, and like the guys who work at the temple are like, "Oh, screw these guys," so they put the snakes on your head. So then you just look like a goofus, and that's the photo you're paying for. And then they go, "Aha, you pay for a photo he'll never show anyone."
It was probably a Burmese python.
Okay.
There, which is probably one of the largest species of pythons in the world. We can't have them here because they're also very easily invasive. Unfortunately.
Sure. Yeah, we just had the invasive species episode.
Yeah, so they're probably Burmese pythons. We can have them here. They enormous snakes. But it's not good to drape them around your neck because then you get this point of pressure of the snake around your neck, where they're resting on your neck and the rest is dangling, and it's really bad for the spine of these bigger species of snakes. You actually want to support their whole body weight.
Here's how little I knew about snakes is I didn't even know they had a spine.
What?
I don't know. They're so long and wiggly. I didn't realize.
What do you think was in them?
Goop.
Oh no.
Snake goop.
So the snakes have a spine and they have ribs that go all the way down.
They have ribs?
Yes.
Oh my god, their ribs must be so small.
Yes.
It must be so little ribs.
Yeah, but many, many, many ribs.
Mm.
They don't really have a neck.
Makes sense. I'm slowly becoming.
Oh yeah, they're smooth, they're cool, they're very cool anatomically, evolutionarily as well. Like one thing they do is something called the pterygoid walk.
Pterygoid?
Yeah. And that's where if like a really big snake is eating a deer or a kangaroo or something, they don't actually swallow it like what we would think of swallowing. They actually walk their jaws up along the prey item, and they like essentially walk the prey item into themselves, like how you would walk a fridge into a house.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's how I used to eat when I still smoked pot every day.
I don't know. You ate all my potato salad the other day. I was very surprised.
Oh, it's very good potato salad.
And yeah, they're not hard to keep, actually, once you have the principles down and you kind of understand what their physiology is like.
Yeah, do they eat like live prey and stuff?
No, that's illegal in Australia.
I thought that was like a pretty standard thing with snakes.
No, it is legal in the US. You feed them frozen mice that you thaw to to body temperature.
Right. So wait, it's illegal to feed them live mice.
Live anything here.
But yeah, if you, whatever it is. But if it's dead and it's frozen and then you defrost it, you still give them the whole prey.
You still give them the whole thing, yeah, for fur, everything.
But who's enforcing that? No one's coming to the house.
To be fair, yes, no one enforces it. However, it's also not good practice.
Why?
So if you put a live mouse or a rat or something with a snake, first of all, it doesn't really replicate natural behavior. Right. Because what snakes normally do is that they'll find the trails with which a rodent run through. And they wait by it, and as the rodent comes through on its usual kind of perambulations, it strikes. Yep. They're not trapped in there with a rodent.
So you're creating like a Fight Club situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can get horrific injuries where like the snakes are injured like down to the bone, like they've got gaping holes
but I think
in
particularly rats can like really
because
bite.
they go, well, I'm trapped here, I've got no other option, and they attack the snake. Wow. So it's actually really bad practice, both welfare and just husbandry, to give live prey to snakes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's uncommon that...
It's also bad wifery to keep bringing home bags of snakes for your husband.
I didn't bring them home for you.
Right.
So it's illegal, I think, in a lot of the world, but illegal in Australia, which is great.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah.
And many snakes in captivity will have no problems striking and eating dead prey. It's no problem at all.
Okay, yep.
But yeah, they're not actually that hard to keep once you got the principles. So one is getting your head around the idea that they are very fundamentally different from us, because we're mammals. Right. We produce our own heat. Right. They are pretty much room temperature.
Yeah, right. So you need what, like heat lamps or heat stones or something?
Yeah.
Or...
So I prefer radiant heat because we think about the type of heat that these guys usually get. It is radiant from the sun. Yes. Yeah. So I prefer heat globes, and they're also not very bright.
Snakes?
Yes.
Okay.
So you want to put the heat globe in a cage because you don't want them wrapping around the heat globe because they're like, ooh, warm, snuggly, because then they get burned.
Wouldn't they feel that they're getting burnt?
Not until it's too late and they're already burned.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. They're really hard to treat as well because they're huge areas of the snake's belly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and you got to put topicals on a snake, and it's wiggling all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Really, once you get the husbandry right, once you find a good exotics vet, they can talk you through everything. It's actually not hard keeping snakes, and they make very nice, low maintenance, and very beautiful pets.
Mm. And yeah, when someone comes over to visit you, they'll realize that you're a freak. I mean, I just
Snakes
think
are great.
the kinds of people who have snakes are kind of freaky people, right? That's at least the stereotype.
I'd like a snake.
You're a freak.
That's not very nice.
All right, wrap up the things about snakes. I think
They're great.
They're great. That's it.
They're really nice animals.
Yeah, get a snake. They're the source of original sin.
Good. The Tiny Vet podcast is brought to you by Upilio. Sources for our topics can be found at upilio.io. Outro music by Matt Charleston.